You know how you get mentally tough? It's a lifestyle. Instead of hitting that fucking snooze button in the fucking morning and not making your bed, and not cleaning your house, you don't hit the snooze button. You get up. You don't want to go run, you go run. You don't want to go swim, you go swim. You don't want to make your bed, you make your bed. You don't want to clean your house, you clean your house. You don't want to study, you fucking study. That's how you start to callous your mind. It's going to suck. It's not going to be fun. Do something that sucks every single day of your life. That's how you grow. Embrace the suck.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder.
And sometimes I think even if you don't know quite what it is that you want to achieve, that if you just keep cracking on towards it anyway, that, you know, if you do what you love doing, this is what my dad said to me. He said, if you do what you love doing and you do it well, then everything should sort of fall into play.
I wouldn't say I'm fearless. In fact, I think I feel fear quite strongly. But if what we're doing I think is important enough, then I just override the fear.
You have to stick to your guns. You have to find something that you can do that maybe other people couldn't do. And even if that seems different or doesn't fit into people's expectations, that's what's going to distinguish it if you can do it successfully.
Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it.
It's easy to embrace hopelessness when things seem insurmountable. It's actually just a matter of time until all of the elements come together for things to be all right. I mean, I believe that, you know, most difficult situations will resolve themselves if you are persistent and if you don't give up entirely. And that's what I never did. I never gave up.
Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you.
Because our minds naturally don't look for it. It's almost like our minds naturally gravitate toward the negative.
What I am doing, is it going to help me get where I am going? You have to tell yourself the truth. Discipline is rooted in the truth we tell ourselves, and discipline delivers long-term strategic success.
Because, you know, you just come to learn in life that the things that you really get a kick out of are the things that you just can't deny. They're the things that when you're doing them, you can think of nothing else but what you're doing.
The most important part of the equation is work, action, actually doing something.
Make your own uncool. Make your own world. If you fear, make it work for you.
The real king doesn't envy anyone because he's secure in who he is. The real king compares himself to no one because he knows we are all unique and individual.
If you've ever been good to somebody who wasn't good back, if you've ever given your best to somebody and they act like it wasn't nothing at all, then this one is for you.
You were born a winner. And let me tell you something very simple. You have bought into a perception of the world that is trying to make you less than you truly are.
We are not acting from a loving place, but a judgmental place. We are not acting from a place of how can I serve or how can I give? Rather, what do I get and how do I look? Learning to identify the traits and behaviors of the ego, and then working to consciously make a different choice, will drastically change your life.
And it's just other people's opinions is a really way to determine how we feel about ourselves. You gotta keep your mind on your dream.
So sometimes it's not even about what choice we make. Just make a choice and commit to it and go and dive in.
I know some people didn't like you, didn't promote you, didn't endorse you, didn't support you, but get over it.
You can't listen to the echoes of other people when you're talking about your dream. So if you go into the darkness alone, you're going to go to the light alone. And you can't be afraid to walk alone.
We took the responsibility to make it happen. Other people couldn't see it. A lot of people didn't believe it. You were attacked. You were criticized. People were opposing you, but you kept on doing it. It was hard. It was rough. It was difficult. But to you, it was worth it. And eventually you got to a level you know, can nothing stop me now.
And you do this by taking 100% responsibility for your results. You do this by not needing the rest of the world to approve of you and focus on becoming the person who's able to approve of him or herself.
All men have king energy within them, but very few bring that energy into this world.
What can I do with where I'm at right now to make this suck a little bit less? You know? And that question just constantly went on in my mind. Like, how can I become more than what's happened to me? How can I become more than the circumstance that I hate?
The body we can improve. We can improve with the gym, with dedication and hard work. We can improve. So I've improved myself. I'm not doing that kind of work because I have to. It's because it's part of me.
You want to get better? You want to self-improve? Stop looking for a shortcut and go find your alarm clock. Find your discipline. And find your guts and your passion and your drive and find your will. And then you will find your freedom.
It's not graduating from Harvard that matters. It is the ambition and drive. As long as you're learning, you're growing, whether you get it or not, you have ambition and drive, and that's what takes you forward.
There are times when anything that can happen will happen. I don't care how good you are, I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how much you work on yourself, there's some times when things aren't going to go right.
What do you do when it seems like suffering won't stop? What do you do when it feels like your pain doesn't have a point?
Life will knock you between the eyes. It will catch you on the blind side, come out of nowhere, stuff you can't anticipate. That will knock the wind out of you. You want to give up.
Race is not for the swift, but for who can endure. We need time. Give yourself time.
Don't get desperate and don't put yourself under that stress. If you can dedicate yourself, and if you can ensure that you're constantly learning and learning and learning, odds are you're going to be successful.
Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. We all suffer. Focus on what's right and not what's wrong.
Every time you have a massive failure, there's a spark of wisdom in there, waiting to be discovered.
What's the benefit of giving up on yourself, of not stepping out on life and taking life on? What is the benefit for you? What's the plus in that?
If you don't fail, you're not even trying. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
But if you know that you're the thing that can transcend your problems, most fundamentally, if you know you're the thing that, if it faces the problems, can transcend them, then you have the faith that would enable you to take stock of who you are.
I may not like it, but I'm not a whiner. I'm a warrior. I know I can handle this.
No matter what's happening in your life, no matter what's coming down on you, don't surrender to it.
But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life. What can you do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference?
So learning how to empower yourself, part of doing that is standing up to yourself.
So you need to be able to take a punch
And you also need to be quick and innovative and doing new things at a high speed. That's the best defense against the future. And you have to always be leaning into the future.
In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency.
We were put here to be all we can be, not a fraction thereof.
So don't be afraid to fail. I mean, how far can you fall?
So you need to foster the belief in what you are dreaming so that it becomes a reality, which is very different than saying, I don't expect anybody to believe it until I see it. You need people to believe it before they can see it.
We're supposed to be different, folks. And when people look at us, believe in yourself.
If you're not having doubt, you're not pushing the boundaries far enough.
If you focus on what you want, life has probabilities. There's no guarantees, but you increase them when you change your state. And that's really what this is all about. Learning to change your body and learning to change your focus.
You get to build yourself in any direction you want, in any way, to become anything you want.
Get your butt from down there. It's time for you to stop being comfortable at the bottom. Get your butt up and get to where you're supposed to be.
I started feeling victory just by putting myself in the battle.